Hello everyone and welcome to my review of the Marvel Legends Infinity Saga Iron Man Mark III figure from Hasbro Marvel Legends, and I'm verily excited for this figure. I do like the Iron Man 1 movie. It kicked off the MCU for me, and I think the moment I saw it, I knew it revitalized the superhero scene for me. So I'm really glad to have this particular figure. I have Iron Mans in the Marvel Legends series, but not the Mark III, and I'm really glad to have him in the the updated Mark III version, because I think they released a Mark III before. I wasn't collecting action figures yet, so glad to have him. See my ring light over there, illuminated in the open window box. Really nice open window box. For those who are inbox collectors, I can see why you'd keep this in box. You can see the figure very well. The deco on the box is really nice. I don't really keep boxes, but I might keep this one. It's really nice. Infinity Saga, you see, these are all Infinity Saga, Marvel Studios, Iron Man, the Avengers logo here. You got Hasbro. All of this is spot varnished. Spot varnished, is that the right word for it? Tempoed on there very nicely. And then you have the Infinity Saga. There's an artwork over there to the side. You have the Iron Man poster. I don't even know if I can use that. But yeah, we have the Iron Man poster here. Iron Man Mark III. You can see the bio over there. Very nice. You can see it's very reflective and very matte in some places, which is really, really nice. Nicely done box. Probably of all the, you have on top over there, probably of all the Marvel Legends, some of the best packaging they've had so far. It's very striking. It's very cinematic. It's very epic. So, but we're not here for the box. I'm the kind of collector who opens his toys, so let's get him open. I'm very excited for this, and yeah. Yes, Iron Man. And now here we have Iron Man out of the packaging and looking really good. You can see how shiny he is. In fact, with all my ring lights coming on, I'll upgrade my setup one day, hopefully, when I have the money. But yeah, no, Iron Man, looking really good. I was a bit on the fence about this figure at first because of when I saw the images, the promo images. It looked like he had a long torso, and he does a little bit, but he still looks really good. And I'll talk about the things that I do like and the things that there are some things I don't like about the figure. Although more or less, I am enjoying this figure so far. But we'll get into the details, so don't leave just yet, just because I say it's a good figure. Please, stay. Hang out with me, please. Anyway, Iron Man. So the details of this Iron Man are amazing. You have coming in, take a closer look. Ooh. You have the head sculpt looking really good and shiny. You have a little bit of paint over there, although it's not exactly hitting the mark. Neither is the other side, but it's there. For the most part, the paint apps are clean, but some of it just slightly misses the mark. You see like a little bit of red over there in the black area. Right there. And I'm only being very nitpicky about this because I like the figure so much. See, a bit of gold there. And if I didn't like the figure so much, I wouldn't nitpick on it, right? Maybe. But see all the wonderful details, all the sculpt, the spine thing at the back. They even focus on that in the movie, right? If I remember correctly. It's been a while since I watched Iron Man 1. You see wonderful, the arc reactor there. Slightly off-center, but still pretty good. At first I thought the torso was a bit long. I think it's just because the crotch armor piece is runs a bit low. Like, you see his hands are very detailed. Down to his legs, very wonderful golden red paint and accented by the black once in a while. The thing about the joints though, the red is uniform except for the joint. You'll see that the joints are a bit darker red. And that's true as well with the arm joints. And I forgot to mention, the arm is a little bit gappy in some ways because of the way that the shoulder pads are done. But it's, for the most part, it's not an issue. Like I said, I'm only nitpicking the figure because it's a pretty good figure. And, you have a figure this good, you gotta nitpick on it. In the end, I really, really like this figure. You even have the little bit of detail down here. So otherwise, a really great figure. Even to the bottom of his feet is very detailed. Look at that. See if we can focus on that a little bit. Yeah. Really good details. Look at that. Even just standing there looking at the camera, vanilla pose, it looks really good. Oh, can't get enough of this figure. Now in terms of accessories, he does have quite a bit. He has the extra head, which you'll see right here, with the face plate up. Really good head sculpt. Really good likeness of Robert Downey Jr. There you go. It's easy to pop it off. His body. And you want to be careful not to press too much on the faceplate because I feel like that could break off a little bit. Fits on very well. And that looks really good. He comes with 2 pairs of hands. So you see his fisted hand over here. He comes with another one for his other hand. The repulsor blasts are not painted, unfortunately, for the fists. And that goes for both of them. And then he has 2 blast hands, which have the repulsor blasts if painted in. Repulsor blast, I keep saying repulsor blast. The repulsors, or whatever, painted in. However, unlike other Iron Man figures, there is no hole. It does not come with blast effects like normal Iron Man do. So there's no reason for it to have a hole. And it's nice for if you don't really like blast effects, it's really nice to have that pose like that. Just like he's about to shoot. Like that. However, there's a little roundabout to this. If you have the previous Marvel Legends Mark 7 figure, which I'll set him off to the side over there, he does come with his own pair of pew-pew hands. Right there. And it's a little bit of a snug fit. So you can see that hand, comparing it to this hand, where this is the original Mark 3 hand. We have the armor bit up. Whereas you have the Mark 7 hand with the armor bit down, and a hole where the repulsor should be, so that if you want to, you can place it. You can place a blaster like that. And you might argue, screen accuracy, it doesn't fold up, the Mark 3 doesn't fold up, but you take what you can get, right? So if you have both of these figures, which both are very good Iron Man figures, you get the option to interswitch the hands a little bit. They look a little bit different, but in essence, they are pretty much still the same. You have that option, which is pretty cool. Now, one last group of accessories is, you see this piece right here. This piece looks a little bit different from this piece because this is flush into the armor. This one comes off. Right there. And you can see the details even inside that piece. Let me focus. The details even inside that piece look amazing. That piece comes off and you can replace it with either some missiles. So you can recreate that scene where he shoots tank. Not bad. Or this little shieldy bit, I believe. Which I believe he used as a shield. Again, very nice detail underneath. So that goes on right there. So you have his hand. Now the problem is, I think he used it to cover his face at the last battle with Ironmonger. The problem is his arm doesn't rotate on the elbow, so you can't really get it to face forward. This, you can fudge it with photography, but that's as good as it gets. Which, honestly, it's not so bad. If it could rotate forward, it would have been much much better. I mean, if this limb can rotate forward, I don't know how they would have done it. The problem is for me, this piece, the default piece, is really loose. I dropped this figure once and it just plopped off, and it took a while for me to lose it. So for my display, I think I will be keeping this piece on just so that I don't lose anything. You know, and standing up on the shelf, it doesn't look so bad. That's my biggest issue, is I don't want to lose this piece. You know. Okay, so keeping this on, just so it doesn't fall out. Let's get into the articulation. Let's focus and get to the articulation. So his head is on a double ball joint. You see, he can do anything he wants. He has the shimmy because he is in a dumbbell joint, which you can see over there. Right? You have another joint below, which I really enjoy. I'm really enjoying that feature of Marvel Legends. Putting his head back on. His shoulders. This piece is a separate piece that is, as you can see, is that ring over there. That's actually rubber connected to the shoulder piece. So it can go up just like the Mark 7s can, but because of that ring, it can also rotate along with the arm. So that's great. That's just such a good feature. As you can see, the arm could rotate, but the problem is it ratchets. And I think sometimes the ratchet is too much. It's too heavy, that it's not always in the position that you want it to be. But it does rotate, which is very good. And the shoulder pads rotate with it. It doesn't feel too fragile as long as you hold it properly. Just don't try to stress it too much. I don't think it should snap. Arms go out that far. That would be fun if I had the missile. The elbows are double jointed right there, so you can see just how far the elbow moves in. My problem here is this elbow is okay, the upper elbow. The lower elbow, the ratchets are so heavy and so tight. So you have, let me try to show you that here. You have there, that's one ratchet, that's two ratchets. So anything in between, it's kind of like hindered by the ratchets. So that's kind of, it sucks because this one moves just fine. I have 5 ratchets in here. So that's not very consistent. You have torso movement, not too much, but actually quite a bit. But just enough. He moves back that far, moves forward that far. No waist movement. The hips are on a drop down actually, so you can drop it down, you can see. Wow. Do a lot with that. Almost all the way out to the side, forward, all the way up, and a little bit back. You got your double jointed knees, which work perfectly. Legs. Up, down, and move it all around. So, really good. Really good articulation for this figure. It can do the superhero landing, which I hope to remember to put photos of at the end. Pretty easily, actually. Let's do it. Let's do it right now. It's just a matter of the drop-down hinges doing its magic right there. You can see Iron Man. And that's just a quick pose. You see how, I think I kept in the video just how fast it was to pose that. Very, very nice. If you had time to fiddle with it more, you might get something better than that. Wonderful figure. I really enjoy the articulation for this figure. It really works very well. And now let's do some comparisons. Let's see how tall he stands first. So he stands at just 6 3/4 inches, I would say. Just off his head. Don't know let's put him in eye level. So he stands just at around 6 and almost 3/4 inches. A little bit skewed by the camera, by the viewfinder, but here he stands next to the previously mentioned Iron Man Mark 7 figure. So you can see just how the progression. This, I think, is still probably my favorite Marvel Legends. I think maybe because if I'm not mistaken, this is the first movie Marvel Legends that I picked up. And it's the one that got me into the line in the first place. This one or another Iron Man figure, I'm not sure. Could be this one. So this is a really good comparison. They're very similar. You can see the progression there. Much bulkier Mark 7, but it has the flight packs. So that's a lot of fun. And it seems like Mark 3 is a lot shinier. I don't know if it's because the Mark 7 is older, but it is shinier. I'm one of the few people with whose Mark 7's shoulders are still down because I didn't post him in our Repulsor Blast post. Let's bring in some other movie figures. Bring them a little bit to the back over there. Here you have him with the Mark 46, I believe. And I really like this figure. I really like the design, but I had a lot of issues with my figure. And it could, this is the earliest release of the Marvel Legends Iron Man that I have. The last one being, move them a little bit, the Mark 85. There you go. The Mark 85 figure. Wow, the least red, actually. Now that I'm standing them side by side, it's a little bit more matted. So here we are. The Mark 85 standing the smallest, which makes sense because every one of these are actually armors. This is a nano suit that just goes above his skin. This is supposed to be much more organic. I like the design of the Mark 6, but I have so many issues with my figure and the figure in general. The Mark 3 is iconic, and the Mark 7, both of them very iconic. I like all of these Iron Men, some more than others, but having them in my collection is just great. My Hall of Armors is looking pretty cool. Iron Man being one of my favorite superheroes. I think my favorite Marvel superhero. So, there you go. I'm considering getting the Infinity Saga version of this guy. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. Comparing him to Captain America here. This small Worthy Cap figure. Again, very small figure. And also, my only version of Thor. There you go. Let's move them to the side. And Thor stands very well with Iron Man. Looks good. Three of them look good together. You can fudge an Avengers self with these guys. So very, very nice. And as is procedure with my channel, we have him next to the Green Lantern, McFarlane figure, and appropriately, the 80 Years Iron Man figure. He stands a bit taller than the 80 Years Iron Man, but they still look nice. Now, they don't look like they're from the same universe, but that's what it is. And besides, it's armor. You can, do what you want. It's your figure. So final thoughts on this figure. I absolutely love this figure. I'm so excited to have this. Iron Man, one of my favorite superheroes. Probably my favorite Marvel superhero. And from the movie that got me back into the superhero scene, and kicked off the MCU. So this is super iconic, and they did it justice, they did it well. I don't have the old Marvel Legends Iron Man, the first release, but this, if you don't have that, this is worth the wait. And I believe I saw photos of that, and I think it's still worth picking this guy up. One of the better Iron Man Marvel Legends, one of the better Marvel Legends in general. I think I'm having so much fun with this figure. A lot of playability, a lot of, just fun factor, and just the shelf presence of this figure is great. So, that's what I think. Let me know what you think down in the comments below about this figure, about my review, whatever you guys want. Let's talk about, the MCU or something like that. Yeah, no, if you like this figure, if I'm missing it, if there's anything that I missed that I forgot to talk about, let me know down in the comments below. Let's talk about it. And yeah, if you like my channel, stay tuned. I will be posting more reviews, hopefully more content in the future. And like, dislike, subscribe, all the YouTube things, all the fun things. And I am Iron Man. I'll see you guys soon. Farewell. Look at that, even just standing there looking at the camera, vanilla pose, it looks really good. Oh, can't get enough of this figure.